Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host,
Grandma Gail.
This is our last podcast of the Palm Beach season 2024.
Correct. And we've had, a very nice time this winter and spring. The weather, of course, was detrimental in the beginning of January and February, but March has been beautiful. You went back to the city, then you came back for a little more sunshine here. And
that's the thing. I feel like
spring is here. We have to start. I can't wait to go back and see the tulips in New York.
I only had like a few beach days here, yet I was here for most of the season.
I know. Well, the weather this winter was not a good weather wherever you were in the United States.
I guess. It just feels like I wasn't here for that long. Like, I don't feel like I was living here, and I also don't feel like I was living in New York City. Like,
you were a commuter. You were going back and forth, which is fine. You got the best of both. And I think what happens now is spring is here. Everybody's ready to go back to wherever they came from, unless they live full time in Florida, because the blossoms are coming out, the tulips are coming out. Everybody is putting on their spring coats and makes you feel, really like a rebirth, which I love. That's one of my favorite seasons.
I don't think I feel reborn. I was looking for the word. I don't feel reborn when I return.
All right, well, that's your issue. Maybe you will when you get back into the swing of things. I do. As soon as I look at Park Avenue and I see all the red tulips and yellow tulips out, I know it's spring and I love it. The only bad thing is, and I don't have them, but the allergy season starts now. So I know a lot of people are starting to take their Zyrtec because their eyes are running and their noses are running. But other than that, those people have to just constantly take an antihistamine.
What was your favorite part about this season in Palm Beach?
You know what? I don't really have a favorite part. I mean, I didn't play much golf, so I can't say that this was a very athletic winter.
Me neither.
And you didn't either. But you know what? We did a lot of walking. I had lots of fun things with my girlfriends and with my family. I enjoyed everybody coming down and getting a little bit of sunshine down here, which was fun.
Yeah.
There's nothing out of the ordinary here. I must say that you did moderate an anti-Semitism program, part of it, last couple of weeks ago. And it was wonderful. They had people from Washington up here, people from the local federation, from different think tanks, all trying to figure out ways of combating the problem that we're having right now on anti-Semitism in America. And you were terrific. You moderated two very interesting ladies.
Yes, Lizzie Savetsky and Montana Tucker. This was like a month ago now, but I thought it went really well. It was a really interesting conversation. They both have really big platforms and choose to educate people and empower Jewish people and, encourage people not to be hateful on social media and otherwise.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I was on my deathbed the night before. I had really bad food. Well, I don't even know if it was food poisoning.
You picked up a little
I think it was stomach bug. I literally was never more unwell in my entire life, but
you pulled it through,
I pulled it together.
And you looked beautiful.
Yeah.
And you made it. You made it through the program, which was great.
I wore like a Veronica beard matching set that I really liked.
No, you looked adorable, and nobody would have known the night before you were a mess.
Yeah. I don't know if I have...
Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite part of this season. Nothing really stood out. Maybe like our magazine cover.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. That was that was the highlight of the winter season for me.
Yeah.
That was fun. I had the big billboard in my bedroom. I still am trying to figure out if I should frame it or just let it go into the basement. But
I feel like it would look better in a frame hanging up than like
sitting
propped
on the floor.
Up on your floor.
Which it is now.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit very easily into the car. That's the problem. You can't see through the back because I did transport it from the store where we had the opening, but of the magazine.
I mean, I can't like look at. Every time I go in your room, I like make eye contact with it, and I get a little weirded
says, hello,
out.
Kim. You look so cute.
Yeah, I don't know. When I was in middle school, I had the 3 photos of myself above my bed. And in hindsight, I don't want to really look at photos of
Well,
myself.
these are good photos because we didn't take them. They were
Well, right, they're
fabulous.
they're professionally
Right.
done, but I still don't really want
And
to.
everybody really loved who got them in the buildings because it's a magazine that's distributed online as well as in the local areas. So everybody sort of was excited to see it, and the quality of the magazine was really neat. So that was fun. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Kim, I also think that we enjoyed seeing the theater that we did. We saw some things down here, and we saw the Miami Ballet, which was wonderful, at the Kravis Center. So there were interesting things by and large throughout the season that we really did enjoy. And, you know, when you come to Florida, you have to really take into consideration this isn't a big, it's becoming a big city, but Palm Beach is sort of a microcosm of what a big city used to be. So you have art, and you have the Norton, which we visited also, and we met with the director there, and we enjoyed looking at the collections there. You know, nothing compares to the Met in New York, but this is just, it's a beginning of what's happening in the South and all over with the exit of a lot of people from the big cities. So I think we're in for a really exciting future down here, especially in Florida.
Yeah.
So,
I think what's still missing a little bit is like social life for young
yeah.
people in Palm Beach. I think like this season for me, I went on the least amount of dates as the past
right.
years.
Well, I think most people are back in wherever they came from on a full-time basis. You know, it used to be they were working part-time. Now everybody's basically either back in their office or in their home area, and that's good. The economy's doing well again, and hopefully we'll get better. We're going to have a mess of a spring and a fall talking about these two candidates, but you know, if you go out on a date or if you go out for dinner, don't talk about it. It's the best way out because there's no good answer to any of these issues.
Okay, let's talk about our rule this week. Think twice if you're spending more time analyzing their texts than they're thinking about you.
Yeah, well, I think that's the basic premise that I've always felt, that if you're over-analyzing something, it's really not right. Then you have something in the back of your mind is saying that something is not quite hitting all the marks that it should be.
Yeah.
And, you know,
if you're at all anxious, it's
yeah,
not a good.
Especially, you know, I read in the newspaper, two young women were together for so long, and then they were getting married, and a week before they got married, they broke the engagement off. They broke the wedding off. And, you know, if you've lived together for 5-6 years, or even 1 year, and you have qualms, and you can't make that final commitment, then, you know what, wake up sooner than later, because nobody can help you. No outs, you know, you can certainly talk to a psychologist or to a clergyman and discuss issues that you might have. But if they're real serious issues, you know what? I think you have to move on. I really do.
Well, I think it's more
Don't get stuck.
If there's little issues, that's almost a bigger problem, because it's like you're spending every single day with so much headspace overanalyzing these little things.
Well, that's the problem.
Like,
if you're the type of person that's going to overanalyze every relationship, you'll never have a permanent relationship, because there's none that are really worry-free, and everybody's going to have a fault, no matter who it is. The husband,
but there's
the
some
wife.
you worry more than others, probably.
Well, some people worry more than others, but I mean, if there's an abuse problem, if there's alcohol problem, if there's a drug problem, those are issues. But whether somebody sleeps on the wrong side of the bed or
no, but let's say it's like someone's giving me anxiety because it's like they are making plans like the day of. I don't know how they feel about me because they're not consistent, whatever.
Well, that's still on the dating phase. You're not in a relationship.
Yeah, but the
yet.
rule is about if
Okay.
texting and if you're analyzing
Well,
text.
if you're worrying about that, then that's the wrong kind of person for you. If you know, this is something that you have to realize. So if you're not compatible, you should break it off sooner than later. There's no point in dragging something out and waiting for the person to change. Nobody changes. So if you're the one who's going to make the plans, instead of if one person tends to make the plans all the time and the other person doesn't like to make plans, you have to point blank say, listen, do you want me to make the plans for our evening activity?
But I think as someone's interest in you grows, they become more like proactive about like
some
seeing
people
you
don't
and
like.
whatever.
Well, seeing you is a different thing. Somebody should want to see you all the time, but some
Yeah,
people
but like
can't
after
make
one date, they don't
plans.
want to see you all the time.
No.
So it's like that does grow.
Oh, that does grow, no question about that, and it should, but it shouldn't grow the night before. There's certainly, you can give somebody a couple of day heads up and say, let's meet on Friday, let's meet on the Wednesday. That doesn't have to be Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Nobody should be sitting around the phone watching the text messages, waiting for a message from either the woman or the
Yeah,
man.
I don't even know if I told you this. Like a few weeks ago, I was supposed to go on a date, and I still hadn't heard that Saturday that we were supposed to go
I would
out.
just forget about it.
So like I kind of did, but I stressed about it all day because I was like, I don't know whether I'm going, whether I'm not. So I texted him first, which I shouldn't have done, saying, "Are we still on?" And he was like, "Yeah, like do you want to like what should we do?" I'm like, "No.
Well,
you
then
should
that's
have made
yeah.
a reservation."
That's the kind of guy that really doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Because you don't really like that. I mean, that's what you have to realize. If you're the kind of person,
I don't think anyone
that is-
likes that.
No, but some people are very loosey goosey
Right,
and don't
maybe.
care.
Maybe.
they'll go.
Not a
out
lot of
and
girls
they'll-
that
at
I
the
know,
touch
but-
of, a touch of a hat will go to the corner restaurant and not care. But if
Yeah.
you really do care about making a plan, deciding what you're going to wear, I mean, everybody has a different personality. To me, that would bother the heck out of me. If I
Yeah.
didn't know at least a couple of days in advance where we were going or what
Mm-hmm.
the intention was, whether we were going to out to the country or whether we were going to eat someplace downtown. If
yeah.
they can't tell you that and they can't make a decision, what are they going to make a decision for in large important
Right.
things? They're just not good at that.
Yeah, it's less for me personally about like I need to know whether I'm going to this restaurant or
No,
that bar,
yeah.
and more like it seems like
What
they
time are we meeting?
not even that. Like I'm like it seems like you don't care. Like you
Well, they probably don't.
You made zero effort. That's what offends me.
Well, I think that is offensive, and I think especially in the beginning of a relationship,
Yeah.
somebody should be making a plan because you're excited.
You're
when you're
trying to
married
woo
a very long
somebody,
time.
like-
Somebody you sometimes say, "Oh, you make the plan," or "I'll make the plan." It doesn't matter. But if it's a beginning of a relationship, or even several months into a relationship, there should be a plan.
Yeah, because you're trying to like win the girl over, like so.
Or the man over, however it is.
Yeah.
It's like putting on your best. My mother used to say, "Put your best foot forward."
Yeah,
And
maybe that is their best foot.
And if that's their best foot and it doesn't get along with you, then that's the wrong foot for you.
Yeah. Okay, so some people wrote in some scenarios that they want our advice on. So let's go through those. Okay, Grandma. My boyfriend has a lot of girl best friends, and I don't usually get jealous, but he spends a lot of time with them one-on-one. Every time I bring it up, he gets defensive and thinks I'm crazy for thinking that way. It makes me uncomfortable, but am I just being jealous? How do you know if people are more than just friends?
Well, if you're going with a man and you like him a lot and he seems to like you, somebody does have friends either before they met you or even, while it could be work friends, whatever. However, does he include you in on it? I think a one-on-one with somebody that, clearly you're going with this young man. If he likes this girlfriend, let him introduce you and go out the three of you. I
Right.
mean, you do that very often with couples that you know.
I go out with couples all the time, but I'm friends with the girl, not the guy.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. You're looking at it from the other.
Well, actually, that's not true.
That's
yeah,
not-
I can think of multiple guy friends of mine.
I think if you're a friend, you could be friends with both. I mean, that's ridiculous. So I think this fellow needs to be told, listen, I don't mind you once in a while having a coffee with a friend, but if you're going to make it a permanent thing, then I'd like to be included as well.
Yeah.
And if he says no, then there's something wrong.
Yeah. Although I'm thinking about like I have one or two really close guy friends since I was a child, and I would still like meet them for coffee without
Yes.
their girlfriends.
Yeah, but if you're going for dinner, I think it would be strange
Yeah.
not to include his girlfriend.
Right. Totally. But I guess like it depends on what the activity is.
Exactly. If it's a coffee in the afternoon just to catch up, it's
Right.
no big deal.
Right. I also think it matters the nature of the relationship. Like if they have a past, if it's like they went on dates in the past
Well,
or
that's
used to
different.
whatever, like
I
then
would think
I
twice.
think I would think twice.
Yeah.
There were because I just watched Love Is Blind, which is like a show on Netflix,
Right.
and it was kind of that situation where the guy was going out one night with like a few of his girlfriends, and the fiance got really jealous, but he had like slept with one of their friends before. So like she kind of had a point to be jealous. Like, why are you going out with your girlfriends and I wasn't invited and whatever.
I think it's strange. I
Yeah.
think you're entitled to go out with single friends, but include your relationship person together.
Okay, here's another question. Me and this guy have gone out on a few dates and things are great, but I don't think the chemistry's quite there. We get along great and he's the perfect guy, but my romantic feelings haven't caught up yet. Is it a wrong fit if the chemistry isn't there by now, or should I keep getting to know him?
Well, I think you need to get to know him. I don't know if you're physically involved, which I think you probably are. If the chemistry is off, then explain to him what you want or let him explain what he wants. And if it's not working out eventually, then you have to just call it a day. But I think chemistry grows. You're not going to know it on a first, second, or third date.
Yeah, but I think after 10 dates, if
by
you
10
don't
dates.
feel romantic toward them and it's just like, I like you as a person, like that's not enough.
Well, it depends. It depends, what you're expecting in life. If you can get to, usually people marry their best friends after a while because they really have a lot in common, and the friendship lasts way after the sex doesn't.
Yeah, but I think you
in
don't
the
just marry your friend.
After a while, after a while, I think if it doesn't work and you're unhappy, then it's not going to change. But I think you have to give it a while. You have to give it a couple of months.
Okay, last question. I've been living with my boyfriend for a few years, but I have dreams of my own and want to move cities. We've been together for over 6 years, and he's the man I want to marry, but I'm worried what our relationship would look like if we go long distance. Should I stay here with him or make the move before it's too late?
Well, you're asking me something that I really am so much against. First of all, you've been going 6 years together,
right?
And you have history, and why is it taking you 6 years to make make a commitment of getting married? So that already is a red flag. Nobody takes 6 years unless you're 18 years old and you don't want to get married at 24. That I agree. But you know what? But 6 years, you should know your partner pretty well and make a permanent commitment. And secondly, if you're thinking about moving and going on a long distance after 6 years, then there's something wrong with your feelings towards this young man. It evidently isn't working for you, unless he wants to go as well. I mean,
yeah, I think
have you discussed that? I mean, that's the thing. Have you discussed that maybe you want to move cities, and how would he feel about moving cities?
Yeah, I think it has to be a conversation, but I would not just say like, oh, you don't like someone because you want to follow your career dreams. That's not true at all. I think you can definitely like follow your dreams and tell the person like that's what you want to do, and like, are they open to that? But you would think about it both ways. Like if a guy said he was going to move cities for his job, I feel like you wouldn't think twice, but like it should be
I don't
both
think it's
ways.
a male-female agenda here. After 6 years, you should know where your careers are going. And if for some reason there's a great opportunity in another city that you see, I think you have to take into consideration your partner. And very often, the job has to suffer, or the relationship has to suffer. So make your choice, never look back. Include him in on the conversation, or her in on the conversation, because you have been together a long time. But if you're not seeing to eye to eye after 6 years, there's no reason to have a long distance relationship. And that's my sad story to tell you.
Okay, another great episode of Excuse My Grandma, a really quick one. We just wanted to give you our updates and be following us on social media to catch up with us and keep up with us.
Hope your tulips all come out beautiful wherever you live.
Yeah, so I guess the next podcast will probably be podcasting from New York.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.